Trolls are legendary creatures in Scandinavian folklore that have survived for hundreds of years, appearing in stories all throughout Northern Europe. But exactly what is a troll and where did they come from? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. So grab a coffee, tea, or maybe some mead and let's get into it. The word troll comes from an Old Norse word meaning to tease or to annoy. And in modern times, we usually think of them as big, ugly, grumpy creatures that live under bridges and demand a toll of food or work from anyone who wants to pass. But surprisingly, that depiction of trolls is actually a pretty recent one, only really taking off in the late 19th century with the publication of a book called The Norwegian and Danish People, S Book of Fairy Tales. Before then, trolls were generally much more monstrous, even demonic in some tales, and were rarely, if ever, seen as anything even resembling human-like. In fact, one of the earliest surviving written references to trolls isn't even about a troll at all, but rather a place. In the 12th century, the Icelandic writer Snorri Sturluson wrote about a mythical land in his book Prose Edda, also known as the Book of Snorri. In it, he describes a place called Jotunheim, home to the giants or Jotnar. Sounds familiar? Well, the word Jotun means giant or ogre in Old Norse, and the land of Jotunheim is said to be located somewhere in the remote north, a place full of trolls, giants, and other monsters. It would seem trolls were originally conceived as terrifying creatures that lived deep in the mountains or the darkest parts of the woods, places humans rarely went because of the danger. They were often described as being incredibly strong and were known for eating livestock, sometimes even human. In some stories, they were shapeshifters, able to take on the form of animals, most commonly a horse or an ox. And like many myths, there were said to be troll wives and even troll children, which is kind of adorable, I'll admit, but also potentially very dangerous. Now, while trolls are typically depicted as being solitary creatures, there was at least one story from the late Middle Ages that describes a massive battle between the trolls and the humans. It was said that once every summer during the feast of St. John, the trolls would leave their caves and attack the nearby village. And while the villagers did their best to fight back, they couldn't win until one brave hero came forward and slew the Troll King. After that, the trolls apparently retreated back into the mountains and everyone lived happily ever after. Of course, this version of the troll story has a lot of similarities to the more modern stories we're familiar with today, likely due to the influence of the Norwegian and Danish people's book of fairy tales, which collected and republished a number of older folk tales, including those featuring trolls. That, of course, is the source of the more troll-like trolls we know today. So while we may have a fairly good idea of where the modern troll came from, the question of why these creatures have survived for so long and remained so popular is something we'll have to explore in part 2. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. Leave a comment. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new episodes. Until next time, I'm your host, Pretty Cookie.